This is a live look from the Orion spacecraft as it takes 4 NASA astronauts to the moon and back. The Deep Space Network is now being used for communication instead of tracking and data relay satellites. It is the first time in 50 years a spacecraft carrying people has traveled far enough for NASA to have to make the switch. And the Artemis II commander called the launch an amazing ride in a video call with Mission Control this evening.
For those there, amazing feel and amazing scenery for the crew. They've already seen 2 moon rises so far on this trip. We've got team coverage. First, Matt Doherty is at the Johnson Space Center, home to NASA's Mission Control. Matt?
Yeah, we've been watching the live feed from the NASA live stream on that big screen over there all day long from the auditorium here at the Johnson Space Center. Although this mission is not complete so far, it has been a great success.
3, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
At 5:35 Central Time, NASA took one giant leap closer to returning to the moon.
It is far less stressful to be strapped into the rocket than to be responsible for it here on Earth.
At a post-launch press conference in Florida tonight, NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman said ensuring the safety of the 4 astronaut crew is the primary purpose of Artemis II.
This is a test mission for sure. No crew have ever ridden this before. We'll keep gathering data over the next 10 days. We'll share updates, but we'll call a success when they're in the water safely, and we'll start working on the next mission.
The Artemis II crew is currently in its first orbit around the Earth before heading off to the moon. The mission will bring the astronauts the closest to the moon any astronaut has been in more than 50 years. The crew will be going the farthest any human has traveled in history. The mission is scheduled to last 10 days. The next Artemis mission is expected to put humans back on the moon, with the intention of establishing a permanent moon base in the next few years.
All right, Houston, I just want a quick comm check. Can you hear this transmission?
Back on the ground in Houston, NASA employees at the Johnson Space Center dropped by the auditorium to see how their colleagues are doing so far from home. If anyone thought the moon was a world we'd already conquered and left for good, they'd be wrong. By all indications, it's again the latest frontier. From the Johnson Space Center, I'm Matt Doherty, KHOU 11 News.
And crowds witness history at watch parties all across the country. Maria Aguilera continuing our team coverage from Space Center Houston, where 1,300 people turned out for a watch party. Maria?
Yeah, Len, I can tell you that it was filled with people here inside Space Center Houston. Now, everyone here was cheering on a launch that's been years in the making, with so much of that work starting right here in Houston.
3, 2, 1, booster ignition, and liftoff.
Cheers erupted as the countdown hit 0. Artemis II, go for launch, marking a new chapter in space exploration.
It was really exciting, and I'm so glad to be able to be here, to be in NASA to see a launch.
The energy in here was also nice, and that's the reason I came, because of everyone here so enthusiastic.
If you weren't near Kennedy Space Center in Florida, where it launched, Space Center Houston was the place to be. 1,300 people sold out this event.
We are Space City, so this is our time to celebrate and commemorate.
After a few delays and months of buildup,
We truly are gathered here for a historic moment.
the crowd watching every second of this historic moment. Nearby at Johnson Space Center, Mission Control taking over as a 4-person crew trained in Houston and quarantined for 2 weeks before heading to Florida. That crew, an inspiration.
I think it's so great that we have a woman, especially on this flight. That's really exciting for me personally to see.
For families here, it's a moment they'll cherish. How are you feeling just being here with your family and being able to witness history?
I feel so lucky, honestly, just to be so close to history, to live in such an area with so much science going on.
For some, emotional.
And I noticed that I wasn't the only one that had tears in my eyes.
Others following space missions for decades.
This comes around full circle. It really does.
And for the next generation.
You colored that? Yeah.
Already sparking curiosity.
Well, that was amazing because it's a way for us to share with our kids what is the future, what is the present.
Ready for what's next. The only thing that would have made tonight even better is if that launch was happening right here in Houston. But still, the people I spoke with tell me this is a moment they will never forget. Live from Space Center Houston, Maria Aguilera, KHOU 11 News.